Good morning, Ms. Boy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chair, the witness that we will commence with this morning is Captain Mudisani. He is joining us from a training center.
From a what?
A training center. Yes. And so he is unable to be with us physically. So in order for us to be able to lead him, because we couldn't give him a time frame for a later start, we'll start with him.
Okay.
And he will be followed by Captain Mkachwa.
Kachwa,
Yes. Okay. He is online. Captain, good morning. And can you please switch on your camera for the commissioners to see you?
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Is it Captain? Is it Captain
Modisane?
Captain Modisane.
I don't know, somebody is appearing on my, the video doesn't want me to switch it on. Okay, it says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. So it has been disabled, my video. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Loud and clear, Captain.
Start my video. Okay.
Oh, now we see you.
Yeah, it was disabled. Sorry for that.
No problem at all, Captain. Swear or affirm?
Chair,
I will swear.
You'll swear, yes. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Captain. Yes, Ms. Powe.
Thank you, Commissioners. Captain, can we start with just confirming the documents that are in front of you? Can I confirm that you have before you your statement?
I do have my statement before me.
And the second document is the annexures to your statement, which is Annexure A. It's a 212 affidavit.
That's correct. I do have commissioners.
And if we go back to your statement, do you confirm that this is a statement that you have prepared for purposes of giving your testimony before the commission?
That's correct. That's the statement that I've prepared, commissioners.
And if you go to page 9 of the statement, there is a signature there. Can you confirm that that is indeed your signature?
Page 9. That's correct, commissioners. That's my signature.
Thank you, Captain. If we can then start at the beginning of your statement. At paragraph 2, you describe your current role. Can you tell the commissioners about this?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, commissioners. In the paragraph 2, it's basically my training and my qualifications. I don't know if I must read it all for the record or how must I go about it?
Captain, in paragraph 2, you deal specifically that you are an analyst and your deployment to the PKTT. Can you start there?
Or paragraph 2 of my statement, not the 2 and 2.
Yes, we will return to your 2 and 2 later.
Thank you, commissioners. As I say on paragraph 2, commissioners, on the 2nd of September 2018, I was deployed in KwaZulu-Natal for Forensic Science Laboratory section in Amanzimtoti to provide analysis service to the political killings task team. It was under the command of Lieutenant General Dumisani Kumalo. So I was assigned to assist with the forensic ballistics examination to link politically related killings. And I further later assisted the taxi violence task team, the organized crime in KwaZulu-Natal. And I also assisted any other investigating officer who came to the lab to assist with urgent cases. So I would assist such people to expedite the investigation with regard to ballistics.
And Captain, you explain in paragraph 3 that as part of your work, you were requested to perform a comparative forensic ballistic examination. Can you explain what this request was about?
Thank you, Commissioners. The request was all about, there was 3 cases in KZN which are related to political killings. So these 3 cases were still unresolved, and the investigation was kind of stalled because there was no evidence coming forward. So I was requested to do a comparison. Okay, paragraph 3. I'm on the wrong paragraph. Sorry, Commissioners. So I was requested to do a comparative ballistics examination by comparing the ballistics results on Bramley case 149/4/2024, which is the matter of Mr. Swart of QTech Engineering. So this case of Bramley, Commissioners, I was requested to compare it with the 3 cases which are Santin case 398/11/2022, where DJ somebody was murdered together with his bodyguards. The other case was Orlando case 93/2/2023, where Mr. Don Tingleni was killed. And the third case was Orlando case 220/3/2022, where DJ Vintos was killed. That's the initial request.
Thank you, Captain.
That is one of the requests that I received from the organized crime unit.
Thank you, Captain. And before we deal with the specifics of that examination, you detail your education and work experience at paragraph 4. Can you take the Commission through that, but with reference to Annexure A? Commissioners, in Annexure A, the witness has given a comprehensive description of his qualifications, so he will make mention of paragraph 2 in particular. Captain, can you take the Commissioners through your education and experience?
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. I commenced my tenure at the Forensic Science Laboratory in Silverton in the year 2008 as an examiner of forensic ballistics. And my academic background qualifications includes, amongst others, the National Diploma in Policing, which I obtained it from Tshwane University of Technology. And I also obtained a diploma in digital and analog electronics from the Nexa College in 2001. So to date, Commissioners, I examined ballistic related cases of an excess of 3,770 cases. So I received an in-service training in the ballistics section from 2008, which ended up to 2011. The ballistic training, Commissioners, takes years if there is no any other interruptions in between. So I the training consists of 12 levels, commissioners. So I completed all the 12 levels in ballistics related investigations. So that's basically my qualifications and the trainings that I received. I also received external trainings from different training providers with related to ballistics analysis.
Thank you, Captain. Now let's deal with the request that you received. Before dealing with the one that you outlined at the beginning of your testimony, let's deal with the comparative ballistics examination of the 3 KZN cases against 27 case files from the Pretoria lab. Can you tell the Commission about this request?
Okay. Around November 2024, I received a request from the PKTT to conduct a comparative ballistics examination comparing 3 political killings cases which occurred in KZN. These cases, commissioners, were unresolved, and there was no suspects arrested in these cases. So they wanted to resuscitate these cases. So they requested me to compare these 3 cases, which are Escort Case 92 of 8/2019, Newcastle Case 208 of 5/2019, and Escort 100 of 9/2018. I was requested to compare these cases with the number of cases that were given to me by the investigators of the PKTT. These cases were 27 in total from Pretoria. So I've mentioned all these 27 cases in my report. I don't know if I must read all of them, but they appear on my statement.
Captain, you don't need to read all of them. They are before the commissioners. But can you explain then?
Appearing under paragraph 5 of your statement, Captain.
That's correct, commissioners.
I notice
Can I continue?
we notice that the sub numbering is incorrect. It should be 5.1 to 5 point whatever the last sub number is. 5.27. Will you attend to that, Ms. Powell?
Chair, I will attend to it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Captain, you described in your statement the process that you then follow once this request was given to you, and you start describing this process from paragraph 7. Can you explain the process to the Commission?
Okay, thank you, commissioners. So the request was from paragraph 7.
Yes, Captain, and that's just after you receive the request to then collect the case files in Pretoria.
Okay, following the above request, commissioners, I arranged with Lieutenant Colonel Leso in Ballistics Pretoria to collect the 27 case files because you have to request the case files because you have to request the case files so that they can make them ready and available to you. So I arranged with Lieutenant Colonel Leso, and each case contained relevant reports, the covering letters, the exhibits and worksheets, and associate correspondence and notes. So after Colonel Leso confirmed that the cases were ready, I made a trip to Pretoria, where I'm originally based, And on the 12th December 2024, the 27 case files were handed to me by Lieutenant Colonel Lesu, and I then returned to KZN with these case files to conduct the requested comparison from the PKTT.
And Captain, can you describe how this comparison occurs? How do you undertake this process?
Okay, the process will start with the case files in front of you, and you open each case individually and comparing with another case from the opposite. In this case, I was comparing the three KZN case files with all these 27 case files from Pretoria. So firstly, I will open the case files, which are of KZN. 3 of them, I will open them. And one by one, I will be comparing this specimen from the KZN cases, comparing them one by one with the Pretoria case files, or with the Pretoria exhibits that are on the case files. So I will take specimen one by one into the microscope, under the microscope, comparing the similarities on each specimen on each case file.
And in this process, are you looking for the markings that would have been made?
In this process, commissioners, I will be looking for individual markings that the firearms imparts on the cartridge cases or the fired cartridge cases and or the bullets. So the process require you to, or the analyst, to look under the microscope for this specific marks to be able to determine if the certain specimen were fired or were not fired from the specific firearm.
And Captain, at paragraph 10, you deal with your findings. Can you explain your findings to the Commissioner?
Okay. In paragraph 10, my findings were that there was no any linkage that was or that I identified between the 3 KZN political killings cases and the 27 cases that I collected from Pretoria, meaning there was no common firearm that was used in these cases, specifically between the 27 cases that I collected from Pretoria and the 3 political killings cases in KZN. So there was no link. So as the results were negative, commissioners, the outcome was recorded on the examination worksheets and the proformas as required by our standard operating procedures. And I did not, in this case, compile the separate case linkage report because the investigators, after informing them of these findings, preliminary, so they did not see it necessary for me to provide the report in this regard. So I didn't compile any report because it wouldn't have any impact on their investigation.
Do you know, Captain, why you were required to do this particular comparison?
Commissioners, I was requested because the cases in KZN were dead, like as in there was no movement on these 3 political killings cases. So I was requested to do the comparison in order to resuscitate the investigation on these 3 political killings in KZN. And again, if I can add on that, The cases that were politically related, the three politically related cases that I needed to compare with the 27, there was a common firearm, or the type of firearm were similar, like it was an AK-47 that was used on these three KZN cases. Also on the 27 cases, all 27 cases that are collected in Pretoria, the AK-47 was used on those cases.
But it turned out these were different AK-47 rifles based on the fact that you could not establish any linkages.
That's correct, Commissioner. They were different AK-47s.
Captain, you then deal with the next comparative ballistics examination request, and this in particular are the three cases you outlined at the beginning. Can you take the commissioners through the request made?
Okay, before I could return the 27 case files to FSL in Silverton in Pretoria, I received a request letter on the 30th of December 2024 from the PKTT to conduct a comparative examination to compare Bramley case 149 of 424 with Bramley case 149 of 4/2024 and Santin case 398 of 11/2022, together with two Orlando cases, which are Orlando case 220 of 3/2022 and Orlando case 93 of 2/2023. In Bramley case 149, commissioners, there's firearms that were confiscated from the suspects, in possession of the suspects. And in Santin 398 of 11/2022, it was a matter of DJ somebody together with his two bodyguards. And Orlando case 220, it was a matter of DJ Vintos. And Orlando case 93 was the matter of Mr. Don Tinglene.
Captain, in terms of your procedures, you then accessed the files on your FSL system. What did you then discover there?
Okay, what I did, because I had to locate especially the Bramley case, I had to locate it because already Santin case and two Orlando cases were in my possession. I know that I have them. So I had to locate the Bramley case 149 of 4/2024. I then went into the system on the same date, the 30th of December. I checked on the FSL system. The FSL system, commissioners, is a centralized national system. So I used this system to locate this case file from Bramley. Upon accessing the system, commissioners, I noted that Bramley case 149 of 4 was reflected twice on the system. There was a Bramley case 149 of 4/2024 that was examined in Pretoria in ballistics Silverton. And there was another entry that was made in KZN, where the same entry reflected in KZN amounts in total ballistics. So I established that the same firearms initially examined in Silverton ballistics were the same firearms that were examined in KZN, according to the system.
Thank you, Captain. Commissioners, you'll recall this is also the testimony of Witness B, that initially there were taken for examination in Pretoria, and in September they were taken for re-examination in Amanzimtoti. This was also the evidence of Brigadier Mkabela yesterday, who confirmed the 2 entries. Captain, once you realized that there are 2 entries, what did you then do?
Okay, upon realizing that there was 2 entries of Bramley case 149, I requested the case file and spoke to Warrant Officer Kekana, who was the ballistics analyst that analyzed the Bramley case in KZN. I went to him to inquire about this case. And paragraph 16, I spoke to Warrant Officer Kekana about this case, because for me it was like bizarre why this case was examined in Pretoria and examined again in KZN. Warrant Officer Kekana advised me that the IOs, or the investigating officers of Bramley matter, presented a letter signed by Major General Mbuso Khumalo, requesting that the firearms in the team's possession be re-examined in Amanzimtoti FSL ballistics by an independent analyst. So he said that the IOs were citing some irregularities in the initial tests conducted by FSL Pretoria. So the request was discussed apparently with the management of the lab in Pretoria, and following the approval, the examination was conducted in KZN.
Thank you, Captain. At paragraph 17, you deal with then requesting the file from Warrant Officer Kekana. Can you take the commissioners through that and then what you then did with the file once you've obtained it?
I then requested the commissioners the case from Warrant Officer Kekana on the same day, and he gave it to me. And why didn't I request the Bramley case from Pretoria? Is because I saw that the same exhibits that were examined in KZN were the same ones that were examined in Pretoria. So I opened these 3 cases together with the Bramley case and started to do my comparison, commissioners. And commissioners, as ballistics, we do not do anything outside the request, as per the request letter, commissioners. Because if we do anything out of the request letter, we may be seen as biased and having some interest in the case. So we do as the request is saying. So paragraph 18, I deal with, and then I requested and received the Bramley case from Warrant Officer Kekana on the 30th of December 2024. And I then opened these 3 Pretoria matters together with the Bramley case and started to do my examination to compare if there's any possible link between these cases. Commissioners, importantly, analysts work strictly within the scope of the written request, as I said. And we undertake tests beyond that mandate may compromise impartiality and create perception of bias. So if we do something that is not on the request letter, we might be seen as biased or having an interest in the case. So paragraph 19, I don't know if I must continue, Commissioners.
Yes, Captain. Before you continue, you're about to go into what you then found. For ease, I'm going to ask that the commissioners also open the 212 affidavit so that you can then explain to them the process that you undertook in the examination.
Okay. If I continue on my annexure A from paragraph 4. Paragraph 4, it says, on the 30th of December 2024, during the performance of my official duties, I found in the case file marked with that lab number 598202/2022, which is something 398, I received 2 intact sealed evidence bags marked inter alia something case 398 of 11, 2022 B3 and B5, and I opened the bags and found the following. Basically, we hear what happens, Commissioners. Each and every evidence, or each and every case file contains evidence bags with exhibits inside. So I would open the sealed bag to retrieve the exhibits inside that sealed bag. And this is what happened here in this Santin case where DJ somebody was killed. So paragraph 4.1.1 shows the cartridge cases, which were 18 7.62 by 39 caliber cartridge cases, fired cartridge cases, which were marked with those numbers, Commissioners. And 4.1.2, it was the sealed bag was also containing 29 7.62 by 39 fired cartridge cases, which I marked with those numbers. And further down, 4.1.3, I received 2 9mm parabellum fired cartridge cases, which were marked 056 TC2 and 285 TC2. And 4.1.1, it was 4 9mm test fired bullets marked with those numbers. 4.1.5, there was 9 undetermined caliber fired bullet jackets, which were marked with those numbers. And 4.1.6, it was 6 undetermined fired bullets, cores, which were marked with those numbers. And 4.1.7, it was 1 undetermined caliber fired bullets, marked C1. And the next sealed bag with that serial number contained 4.2.1 7.62 millimeter, 7.62 by 39 millimeter caliber fired cartridge cases, and 4.2.2 9mm parabellum caliber test fired cartridge cases. That's the exhibits. Those exhibits, all of those exhibits were in the case of Santin 398, where DJ somebody and the 2 bodyguards were killed. So paragraph 5, Commissioners, it deals with Orlando case 93 of 2, where 93 of 2, it's where Mr. Dontin Glennie was murdered. So paragraph 5.1, it says 21 7.62 by 39 caliber fired cartridge cases, which were also marked individually. 5.2, 1 possibly 7.62 fired bullet jacket. 5.3, 1 undetermined caliber fired bullet jacket. 5.4 to 7.62 tungsten cores, 5.5, one undetermined fragment, and 5.6, one 9mm parabellum test-fired cartridge case, and 5.7, two 9mm test-fired bullets. And paragraph 6, Commissioners, deals with Orlando 220 of 3/2022, where DJ Vintos was met. In that bag, Commissioners, 6.1, it was 7.62 by 39mm caliber fired cartridge case, a 9mm parabellum caliber fired cartridge case, and 6.3, two undetermined caliber fired bullet jacket. And paragraph 7 now deals with the test exhibits that were fired by Warrant Officer Keda from the firearms that were confiscated from the suspects on Bramley case 149. So the tests
Captain,
are reflected on paragraph. Commissioners?
You need not go into all of the different exhibits. Can you explain why it is important for an analyst to go through all of these and list them in the affidavit as you have?
Okay, the analyst, because now he will be opening the bags with different specimens inside. The analyst needs to identify each and every exhibit that is contained in that specific bag, together with its markings, because the markings are individually explaining this type of exhibit. So each and every exhibit has to be noted because the comparison doesn't say compare only the bullets or compare only the cartridge cases. So all the exhibits in each and every bag that analyst is going to open, it has to be analyzed under the microscope, because the request says compare the cases, the case, meaning you will compare all the exhibits that are inside these bags. So it is important to note all of these exhibits one by one in the report.
Good morning, Captain. It's Commissioner Khumalo here. In paragraph 7,
Morning, Commissioner.
in paragraph 7, in particular 7.1.1 and 7.2.1, can you just confirm that those test cartridges are AK-47 cartridges? 7.1.
Okay, Commissioners, 7.1.1, it's a test fired cartridge case of an AK-47.
Yes. And 7.2.1?
Then 7.1.2, it's a test cartridge case, test fired cartridge case of a 9mm parabellum caliber or firearm.
No, Captain, I asked about 7.2.1, not 7.1.2.
Oh, that's correct, Commissioner, yes. They are both cartridge cases of an AK-47 rifle, Commissioners.
Yes, and the reason I'm asking you that is because the evidence we have heard in this commission is that 15 test cartridges were recovered at Bramley in respect of the AK-47 that was found there. So I just wanted to know why you only got hold of 2 of them and not 15. Am I misunderstanding something?
Yes, Commissioner, if I may just explain there. Because the 15 cartridge cases of an AK-47 were firstly analyzed in Silverton, Pretoria. After the analyst have concluded his analysis, the only thing or the only exhibits that he will dispose of to the station will be the rifles or the exhibit firearms. So the 15 cartridge cases, I did not receive them because I did not deal with the Bramley case in Pretoria. I dealt with the Bramley case in KZN. So when the exhibits firearms were delivered to KZN, they were not delivered together with the 15 cartridge cases of an AK-47. So these 15 cartridge cases were filed in the case file that was analyzed by an analyst in in Pretoria, not KZN. So here I was just dealing with the test fired cartridge cases, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. You'll recall also that witness B explained that after they get the report, they only get the weapons. So it's the weapons that were then taken to KZN for further re-examination. And then just for identification of the types of cartridges that are examined, you'll see if it has a TC in it, it's a test cartridge, not the ones that are recovered on the scene. Captain Mudisani, can you confirm the correctness of, at the very least, the identification of cartridges?
I do confirm the correctness of these exhibits, commissioners, and what I've outlined.
Captain, you then at paragraph 8 explain that you conduct a microscopic individualization of fired cartridges cases and fired bullets. Can you explain that in layman's terms, what you mean in that statement?
Isn't it paragraph 9? I think it's paragraph 9.
It would be paragraph 8 at the very bottom of your statement.
Okay, here it's just the intention and the scope, what I was required to do, paragraph 8. So I was required to microscopically individualize the fired cartridge cases and the fired bullets, meaning I was going to compare the fired cartridge cases and the fired bullets. That is according to the request that I've received, to say compare. I was not doing a full examination from the scratch.
Thank you, Captain. And then you deal with the results or your findings. Can you explain these to the Commission?
Okay, the findings on paragraph 9, Commissioners. As ballistics experts, when we're doing comparison, we compare the individual and class characteristics. It's the markings, the class and individual characteristics is the markings that were transferred by the firearm components onto the cartridge cases and onto the bullets during the firing process. So there will be those characteristics that we are looking for on each and every specimen under the microscope to determine the common origin of these specimens. So the microscope assists us to view those tiny marks which a naked eye cannot be able to see. And we use this instrument to come to a conclusion whether there's a specific cartridge case or a specific bullet was fired or was not fired from a specific bullet, firearm, Commissioners. So in paragraph 9, it's my first findings, which says the cartridge cases mentioned in 4.1.1, 4.2.1. This 4.2.1, 4.1.1 and 4.2.1 are the exhibits that I retrieved or that I found in the Santin case 398 of 11/2022, a matter of DJ Somebody, 4.1.1 and 4.2.1. 5.1 is the exhibit that I found in Orlando case 93 of 2023, where Mr. Don Tindleni was murdered. And 6.1 were the exhibits that I retrieved or I found in the case file in the Sealbag under Orlando 220 of 3, 2022, where Mr. DJ's Vintos was murdered. And 7.1.1 and 7.2.1, those are the test cartridge cases that I found inside the Sealbag in the case of Bramley 149 of 4/2024. So all these exhibits that I've mentioned, the ones in 4.1.1, 4.2.1, 5.1, 6.1, 7.1.1, and 7.2.1, I found that these cartridge cases were fired in the same firearm. So they bear common origin. This specific firearm that I'm referring to, it's a 7.62 by 39 millimeter caliber Russian Kalashnikov model AK-47, full automatic assault rifle with a serial number 575363. That AK-47, commissioners, is the same AK-47 that was found in the suspects that were arrested in Bramley case 149 of 4/2024. This is the same firearm, commissioners, that murdered DJ Somebody and DJ Vintos and Mr. Dontin Kenny. I may continue.
Yes, Captain. Can you then deal with your findings at 9.2?
Okay. In paragraph 9.2, commissioners, I further analyzed the 9mm parabellum cartridge cases that were found in the crime scene of DJ Vintos. This is paragraph 6.2. Is the exhibits that were found in the crime scene of DJ Vintos, and I was comparing them with the test cartridge cases in 7.1.1, 7.1.2 rather, and 7.2.2. And I found that these cartridge cases were fired from a common firearm. This firearm, commissioners, is a 9mm parabellum caliber Taurus, model PT92FS. It is a semi-automatic pistol with a serial number which was obliterated. And this firearm was marked 193045/24. And which later the serial number of this specific firearm was retrieved, and it reads as follows: TKS 21211. If I repeat it, TKS 21211, which was retrieved during the etching process. And this
is that the one
serial
that,
number?
oh, sorry. Is that the one that was received by, I forget his rank now, Kader?
That is the same firearm that was accompanying the AK-47, which were received by Warrant Officer Keda in ballistic summons in Doti.
Yeah. I'm referring to the what's the verb you use? Is it retrieval of the serial number? I forget the verb you use now.
Etching.
Is the etching to find the serial number that has been obliterated? That's the verb I'm
correct,
looking
Commissioner.
for. Yes. So is it the one that through hatching was found by or established by Warrant Officer Kader or Kader.
That's correct, Commissioner.
All
This
right.
is the same number that was retrieved by Warrant Officer Kader during etching process.
Retrieved is the verb I was looking for.
Is this firearm that you're describing now, is it the same one that the analyst in Pretoria had recorded that he could not restore the serial number?
That's correct, Commissioners. It's the same firearm, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Just to note that in paragraph 9.3, you note the bullets or bullet jackets that where you could not make a positive determination.
That's correct, Commissioners, because they were damaged. I couldn't make any link to see if whether they were fired from the specific AK-47.
What does it mean that they are damaged? Is it they are damaged at the point of being fired or at the point of being tested?
At the point when they were fired, Commissioners, because this firearm is a high caliber firearm, when the bullet meets the target, it disintegrates or it fragments into smaller pieces, whereby the marks of those exhibits are compromised.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. You then explain what happens after the examination at paragraph 11. Can you briefly tell the commissioners about this process?
Okay, paragraph 11, Commissioners, it deals with the disposals of these exhibits. Because now the examination or the linkage have been completed, the examination have been completed. Now I have to dispose all the exhibits into their different case files. This process entails putting each and every exhibit inside the new seal bag, and I seal that seal bag, and I will complete an integrity form to show that these exhibits or the previous exhibit bag was opened by me, and I then close it on the new seal bag. So paragraph 11, it's all the exhibits. Okay, there was an exhibit that required me to take it to the IB section of the ballistics. So I sealed that specific exhibit, which was marked 1A32. It was somehow missed to be taken to IBIS. And I then sealed this exhibit. It's an AK-47 cartridge case, which was in Santin case 398. It was missed to be loaded into the system. And I sealed it in the new bag and I marked it for IBIS. And paragraph 11.2 deals with all other exhibits of Santin case, which I sealed them in that seal bag number that reads PA6500 555 and filed these exhibits in the Santin case file. And paragraph 11.3 deals with the exhibits that I opened from Orlando case 93 of 2023. I sealed all those exhibits in a new seal bag which reads PA6500 555 465. And paragraph 11 deals with the exhibits that I opened on Orlando 220 of 2022. All those exhibits, I sealed them in the seal bag with serial number PA6500 555 469. So each and every seal bag that I attached to each specific case file. And paragraph 11.4 deals with the tests that were fired by Warrant Officer Kekana under Bramley case 14904 2024. And I sealed them in the seal bag with PA 6500555484. And I also, like others, I attached this seal bag in a Bramley case file.
Thank you, Captain. Commissioners, this would deal with paragraphs 21 to 24 of the statement.
Captain, can we just clarify paragraph 20 of your statement? The firearms referred to in paragraph 20 of your statement, are they the Kalashnikov in your affidavit in paragraph 9.1 and the 9mm parabellum in paragraph 9.2? Are those the firearms you're referring to in paragraph 20 of your statement?
That's correct, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we can then turn to paragraph 25 of your statement. There, Captain, you deal with the process of restoring the serial number that Warrant Officer Kekana undertook. Can you explain this process in simple terms to the commissioners?
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. In simple terms, Commissioners, because I don't want to go into what I've outlined in my statement, because I might expose our doings or our processes to the public out there. In simple terms, Commissioners, one would receive, or an analyst will receive a firearm with the serial number obliterated. So now, to retrieve the serial number, there is a process. We've got two processes that we undertake on that specific firearm to try and get the serial number. We've got magnetic etching process. We call it electromagnetic etching process. And we've got an acid etching process. Those are two processes that we utilize in ballistics to retrieve the serial number. So the serial number during attempt to retrieve it, we've got a process. We need to undertake a process of preparing the surface where the serial number has been obliterated, or the area where the serial number was originally stamped on. We prepare the surface and apply certain chemicals on that surface to let the serial number to be visible. And during that process of applying the chemicals, when the number comes up, we note it. We note it on the piece of paper to say this is a type of a serial, or this is the number that is appearing on that area where the serial number. It could be numeric digits or alphabets, because some firearms contain alphabets, and some firearms serial number contains numbers. So some firearms is a combination of both. So after retrieving the serial number, after application of such chemicals, the serial number comes up. Then the analyst will call a more qualified or person or who did the etching, or who is competent on etching, to confirm what he is seeing on this process. Then when they agree on this, what they are seeing, then it is confirmed by the person, the next person, to say we saw the same number. Then that number is recorded onto the pro forma and then eventually recorded on the 212 report. That's basically what etching is all about. There's a process that we apply on the firearm, or that we conduct on the firearm to retrieve the number.
Captain, at paragraph 25.4, you deal with Captain Makgotle's findings in relation to this. Can you elaborate more on this point?
Okay, during our conversation with Warrant Officer Keita, he explained to me that there's a firearm which the serial number was obliterated, and that firearm, according to him, it was also an attempt was made to retrieve the serial number by Captain Makgotle in Pretoria. That firearm was a 9mm that I spoke about on my Annexure A. So this firearm, when he etched it, when he applied the etching process, Warrant Officer Keita retrieved the serial number successfully and recovered the serial number, which is TKS 21211.
And Captain, based on your experience, did Warrant Officer Keita do anything that was particularly difficult or elaborate in order to establish this?
Commissioners, there are a couple of factors that can influence the person not to be able to retrieve the serial number. They include the training that the member received, specifically on the etching process. They include a person who is not willing to go extra mile, or who doesn't do more, who couldn't do more to try and retrieve the serial number. The other factors could be the chemicals that we are using. Maybe somehow, if the chemicals also are expired, or there can be a difficulty on getting the serial number. The other factor could be, or maybe the person deliberately omitting to do his job. Those are factors. One of those factors could have influenced the person not to retrieve the serial number.
Captain, when you do the restoration, the serial number restoration, what are the protocols that apply, especially if you return a negative result, such as Captain Makgotle did? What do the protocols prescribe must happen?
Okay, commissioners, the protocols that we apply in the lab, or that we have in the lab, is that after applying these etching processes, whether you have found the number, retrieved the number or not, there must be another person who comes and confirm your results. So that is the only process that we undertake. So there's no any other process that we apply if the person didn't find the serial number.
Thank you.
And Captain, given that Warrant Officer Kaida would be doing this process on the same firearm that Captain Makgotle would have worked on, does that raise additional difficulties?
That's correct, Commissioners. It will, because now this firearm has been attempted to the serial number of this firearm has been attempted to be retrieved. The analyst who worked on the firearm basically tampered with the surface, because maybe I will use another word, not tampered. He was attempting to retrieve the serial number. That means he has done some sending of the surface, meaning he prepared the surface, and then he couldn't retrieve the serial number. Now, it will be difficult for the next person. I would expect the next person to have a tough time or a difficulty to be able to find the serial number, because him or herself needs also to prepare the surface again, to clean it and to prepare it for him to now apply those chemicals. So it is advantageous for the first person where the first person is on an advantageous position than the next person, because the next person will be working on the surface that has been already worked on. So Warrant Officer Kaida was, but apart from what all this happening, Warrant Officer was able to retrieve the serial number on that firearm, the specific firearm. But it's, especially if somebody have worked on the firearm with regard to the etching process, and the next person has to work on it again, it might pose serious problems. But Warrant Officer Kaida was able to retrieve the serial number.
Captain, what is the importance of the serial number? And if you're unable to retrieve it, what is the consequence on the case, if any at all?
The importance of the serial number, Commissioners, it shows the identity of the firearm. The same applies to the engine number of a vehicle. It shows the identity of the firearm. It shows the history of the firearm. Who is the original owner of the firearm? It will show that. It will also show that if the firearm was robbed from the owner would have opened the case. If the owner was murdered, the case could have been opened. So that serial number, if we retrieve it and we give it to the investigating officers to check on the system, it will show the history, who does the firearm originally belong to, and how was it taken from the lawful owner, whether the lawful owner was killed, whether the lawful owner was robbed, or there was a house breaking and the firearm was taken. So the serial number is very much important. It shows the identity of the firearm. If we don't have the serial number on the firearm, that firearm doesn't have identity.
Thank you.
And Captain, on this score, if the firearm was ever seized at any point by the police and somehow ended up in the street, this process would also be able to discover that?
That's correct, Commissioners. If it was recovered by the police with the serial number, when the police recover it firstly with the serial number, and it happens that it goes out to the street, and the serial number is then obliterated. When we retrieve this serial number, it will show that this weapon was once in the police hands, or it was retrieved by the police. Even if it doesn't have the serial number, the police will find it in the streets in possession of the suspect. That firearm would have been sent to ballistics, and then a ballistics expert will engrave it with the lab number. We engrave the serial number or the lab number on the firearms where the serial number was obliterated. So that engraving will act as a serial number on that firearm. So if it goes from the station to the street and it gets found on the suspect, then we can identify it with an engraving on it.
Thank you, Captain. The comparative ballistic examination that you performed, and you deal with it in paragraphs 21 to 20 of your statement. Do you know if it was also performed in Silverton? So that is before you came in and you were asked to do it. Do you know if national headquarters performed the same exercise before you were brought in to do it?
Commissioners, which comparative examination is it?
The one in paragraph 11 of your statement, the one where you compare the Bramley case with 3 other cases, and you reach your conclusion in paragraph 20 of your statement. And you say during the examination you performed, you determined a link between the firearm used in Bramley and the firearm used in the murders of DJ Somebody, Don Tinhleni, and Hector Buthelezi. So do you know if that examination was performed in Silverton before you were brought in to perform it?
No, Commissioners, it was not done in Silverton. I'm the first person to do this comparative examination on the firearms against the murder of DJ Somebody, the murder of DJ Vintos, and Mr. Duncan Tinhleni. So the examination that I did was not done in Pretoria because there was no request that was forwarded. This was the first request that was forwarded, and I came to attend to this request.
Does that not bother you, Captain? Because these are all Gauteng cases. The fact that you have to be brought in from KZN or from the PKTT to come and perform examinations in relation to murders that took place in Gauteng. What are the people in Gauteng doing then?
In this regard, Commissioners, there was a direct request that was forwarded to me. I would assume that if the same request maybe was forwarded to Gauteng, they would have done it, Commissioners. Because it was not a ballistic IBIS link, it was a request. Maybe it was if it was captured or if it was noticed during in the IBIS as a link, they would have done it. So it was a direct request from the investigating officers based on their investigation. I think they had a suspicion that these cases are possibly linking. That's why maybe they forwarded the request to me to do the comparison examination, Commissioners.
Yeah. But it bothers me that the same request was not given to Silverton. I mean, if you are aware that an AK-47 has been recovered in Bramley, and you are aware that you're dealing with other murders that involve an AK-47, why would you not perform the exercise?
Yes, Commissioners, because there were already suspicions that of the examination by the investigating officers. There were suspicions of how can I put it, of not of the Pretoria, of the integrity of the Pretoria lab. Maybe that's why they sent it to us, not to them, to do the comparison. Because they also took the firearms to KZN after being analyzed in Pretoria. So they had those suspicions according to the request letter that the warrant officer Keda received. I think it's based on that. That's why they wanted a person who is not in Gauteng to do this comparative examination.
Captain, I find it strange that you say no request was made to establish if there were any linkages. I say it is strange because the investigating officers have told us that they were told, I'm not sure now whether verbally, by Captain Makgotlwe, that there were linkages, but that when they received the report, it did not have or reflect any linkages. So what I find strange is that Captain Makgotlwe would have spoken to them about linkages when no request for linkages had been made. Do you want to comment on that?
If I may comment on that, Commissioners, if indeed they received that information from Captain Makgotlwe, to me it suggests that somehow Captain Makgotlwe maybe might have had something from someone that these firearms are linked to other cases. And indeed, if that's the case, I really don't know. It's very hard for me to digest it, but that means all along, maybe I would say Captain Makgotlwe knew that these firearms from Bramley are possibly linked to other cases. Which other cases I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know which other cases. But if indeed he told the investigating officers so, I would expect him to have been able to link those firearms or those exhibits and supply the correct report. But anyway, like I said, Commissioners, one wouldn't go and do something out of his own will as a ballistics expert. We have to be directed because we might be seen as biased. So, but the information that he gave to the investigating officers was crucial, was very crucial, and that means there was some communication between him and them. I would expect them to continue and ask questions with regard to what Captain Makgotlwe is saying.
I must say I like your repeated use of if, because indeed we are yet to hear from Captain Makgotlwe if he will be called. Thank you, Captain.
Just one more thing, Captain. How long did it take you to perform this exercise? Because it looks from paragraph 11 like you received the request on the 30th of December 2024. And then in paragraph 24 of your statement, you say your report of 30 December 2024 is attached as Annexure A. Does that mean the whole exercise took only a day to perform and to complete?
Only a day. It took only a day, Commissioners.
Yeah. You know why this?
In PKTT we had a motivating factor. I don't know where we were taking it. We worked on the case until we finish it. If if there is a positive feedback that we are seeing on the examination, we will work until it's late. So, and looking at the number of exhibits that are received on the 4 cases, it's not lots of exhibits. We are dealing with lots of exhibits on other cases, which can take you more than 1 day. But these ones didn't warrant me to take more than 2 days or more. So I finished this examination in 1 day, Commissioners.
And is that unique to the PKTT? You've just said something important, that in the PKTT, you don't stop until you are finished. Is that unique to the PKTT, or is it something that is ingrained within the subs, especially the ballistics division as a whole?
This was unique to the PKTT Commissioners. It was unique. Our turnaround time, our normal turnaround time in ballistics analysis, our normal working turnaround time, is 30 days, if I'm not mistaken, to finish the case. Our turnaround time, we made our own turnaround time in the PKTT as ballistics to 3 days, Commissioners, maximum 3 days. So this case, it's based on my experience also, Commissioners.
Just
it's a small case. It's a small case to me.
Just
to finish in a day.
All right. Sorry, Captain. Just to make sure there's no confusion, you said our normal turnaround time is 30 days. And who's our in relation to the 30 days?
Ballistics turnaround time, Commissioner. As soon as the case arrives at the lab.
I just want to know, Captain, I just want to know who you are referring to when you say our. Are you referring to Silverton, Manzimtoti, Gqeberha, and the Western Cape? I don't know whether it's Cape Town. Is that the our that you're referring to? Who's our?
It's the whole lab in general, whether KZN, whether Eastern Cape, Western Cape, in Pretoria. Ballistics turnaround time case, as soon as it arrives at the lab,
all right,
it needed to be finalized in 30 days.
Okay.
But due to backlog, that doesn't happen.
Okay. And then you are comparing that to an average of 3 days within the PKTT. So it's 30 against 3. 30 against 3.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Thank you.
That is the turnaround time that we set for ourselves in the PKTT.
Thank you. In fact, I should not even say average. Maybe I should say 3 days would be the outer limit. And you say there are some that you could complete within a much, much shorter time, like this one, which was within a day.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Captain, just to go back to the protocols and the restoration process that you have described. Now, in Captain Makotwe's Section 212 affidavit, he does state that he was unable to restore the serial number. Now, you've told us, and we've also heard from the Brigadier yesterday, that a second person would have another look, whether it's a positive or negative response, and you've just confirmed that. Would the conclusion of the second person who looks at the initial outcome, would that be contained in the Section 212 affidavit of the original analyst?
No, Commissioners, it wouldn't reflect on the Section 212 report, but it will reflect on the worksheet that the member has completed. Yes. after examination. So the confirmer will sign on the worksheet that will be attached on the case file to say, I Captain Mudisani, confirm that a warrant officer so or captain so retrieved or did not retrieve the serial number, then I sign
Yes.
on that specific pro forma.
And
So the confirmer will sign on the pro forma.
yes, and if there's no confirmer or verifier, am I correct to say then it means that protocol, the prescribed protocol was not followed if there was no verifier?
That's correct, commissioners.
Thank you.
It's a protocol that needs to be abided by, to be applied or to be followed when doing this examination. Anyway, the reviewer of the case,
Yes.
after the examination or the analysis has been completed, the reviewer of the case will pick it up that this case was not confirmed or there's no signature of a confirmer of the etching process of this, and the case file will be returned to be corrected.
All right. That is, if the reviewer does their job properly, then they would also have picked up and they would return the docket or the case
That's
file.
correct, Commissioner. That's correct.
Thank you.
Commissioners, just to note on the etching process, we have followed up with the witnesses A, B, and C to provide us with a supplementary dealing with their findings when they took the serial number discovered by Warrant Officer Kekana. They noted that the weapons were previously recovered by police, but were not entered into SAP 13, which is the administrative process. So we have asked for an affidavit in that regard. Captain, just for completeness, your 212 affidavit, was that then reviewed accordingly before you shared it with the investigating officers that made the request?
That's correct, commissioners. Each and every report has to be reviewed before it gets out of the lab. So the reviewer would have done the review to check the correctness of the report. The reviewer, commissioners, if I may also state, does not change anything on the report or the results that the analyst has done or has noted on the report. All what the reviewer checks is the mistakes, the errors, the spelling. If all the protocols were observed, if all the proformas were filled according to the protocols. So before that the report can go out, the review processes has to be undertaken to check the correctness of the report, whether the spellings are okay, whether the grammar is okay, whether the report was signed. Then it will be dispatched to the investigators.
And Captain, after you gave it to the investigators, it is also loaded onto one of your systems.
That's correct, commissioners. We've got an ICDMS system that we, after completion of the report, it gets to be loaded onto the ICDMS SMS system. This ICDMS system assists the investigators to retrieve the report from the system while they are at their respective working areas in the station. The investigator will go into the system and punch in the serial, the case number, and the system will allow him to print this report. It's only the investigating officer who can access a specific report for a specific case, because he will be assigned to that specific case. So any other person who's not an investigator of the case will have a challenge in retrieving the report from the ICDMS system.
Thank you, Captain. So this report was loaded onto the ICDMS system on the 30th?
Even if it could be after the 30th. It could be after the 30th.
Thank you, Captain. Captain, unless there are questions from the commissioners, that concludes the testimony of Captain Mudisani.
Thank you very much, Captain. Let us adjourn and resume at 11:15.
Thank you, commissioners.
Affirming or swearing?
I must ask the captain. It's Captain Mkachwa.
Captain Mkachwa. Captain Mkachwa. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. Will you be swearing or affirming?
Take the oath.
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain.
Chair, just some housekeeping. Captain Mkachwa today is here with the ballistics files for both the Vereniging and the Bramley cases. And in order to prevent having to pass folders around, we thought what we would do is we would print out extracts. And there should be, before each of the commissioners, a bundle with additional documents which are extracted from those ballistics files. They run from MQM4 to MQM 11, I think, MQM 11. And they are handwritten, paginated, pages 29 to 53, and they follow on the pagination in the annexure file for Captain Mkachwa.
I do have a folder with that. I do see that my co-commissioners also have folders. I trust that the content is the same.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Captain. And Captain, you should have in front of you an annexure file and also your witness statement. Do you have both?
Yes, I do have.
Thank you. Captain, can you tell the Commission what your rank and position is inside the SAPS?
I am a captain and I am a senior forensic analyst at Forensic Science Laboratory in Silverton.
And can you explain to the Chair your relationship to the Political Killings Task Team?
I was deployed in KZN to work with the Political Killings Task Team in 2019 February. I work under the commandership of General Khumalo. And I was working with Mitsu as a tag jock.
And what work did you perform in that capacity?
Commissioners, what we were doing there, we were attending crime scenes and crime vehicle identification, and we were also doing linking of cases, and again we were doing let me put it like this, we were also examining homemade devices, and we were also doing etching for the firearms that had the serial numbers removed. So those are some of the duties that I was doing there.
And if we go to paragraph 4 of your statement, can you explain to the Commission or describe to the Commission your broader history inside the SAPS and your career progression?
In 2002, I was employed as a data typist working at Midrand Police Station. And in 2004, I was employed in correctional service as correctional officer grade 2. Then in 2008, I was appointed as an assistant forensic analyst at the rank of sergeant in Silverton. In 2010, I was promoted to become a warrant officer as a forensic analyst. And in 2013, I was promoted to the rank of captain as a senior forensic analyst. And that is the position that I am holding up until today.
Thank you, Captain. We have in the annexure file a report that you've prepared. It's annexure MQM3 at page 18. We'll discuss the conclusions that you reached at a later stage, but for present purposes, can I ask you to go to paragraph 2 of that report, page 18, and just tell the Commission about your academic qualifications?
I am having a BA Honours degree in criminology from the University of South Africa that I obtained in 2018. I also have a BA degree in criminology from the University of the North, now University of Limpopo, in 1996. And I obtained a higher education diploma from the University of the North in 1997. I also obtained a certificate in security practice from the University of South Africa in 2013. I obtained a certificate in corporate forensic investigation from Dunedin in 2012. Those are my academic qualifications.
And how many cases have you examined? How many forensic investigations into cases have you undertaken?
Up to so far, I've examined more than 4,500 cases.
Now, in paragraph 2.3 of that report, you list a long list of courses in the in-service training of the SAPS and related policing agencies. I don't want you to go through all of them, we'll be here until after lunch, but can you just confirm that you have completed all of those courses that you list in paragraph 2.3?
That is correct, Commissioners. Those are the in-service trainings that I have received at Forensic Science Laboratory in Pretoria.
And can you confirm that you have been declared competent and proficient in forensics ballistics examination?
I confirm, Commissioners.
Thank you, Captain Mkhatshwa. If you can then go back to your main statement in paragraph 5. And can you briefly explain what the role of forensic analysts is to the Commission?
Forensic analysts, ballistics specifically, our duties Commissioners, is to identify ammunition, firearms, and fired cartridge cases. We also identify firearms, we examine firearm mechanisms, and we examine homemade, as I've already stated. We recover and restore alphanumeric figures on metals, on firearms or tools where the number has been, or serial number has been obliterated. We also determined the distance at which in a crime scene where the shooter was, and we also do crime scene investigation, and we also document the results. These are the roles of a ballistics analyst, Commissioners.
Thank you, Captain. Captain, you've brought with you today the Bramley and Vereniging ballistics files.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Can you just identify which is the Bramley file? Do you have them in front of you?
This one is a Bramley file, Commissioners,
And the Vereniging file?
and this one is a Vereniging file.
Now, we've extracted certain, or not extracted, we've copied certain documents from that file, and I'm going to ask you now just to identify them from the annexures. So if we go to the annexure file, page 29, can you confirm that this is a report in the name of Warrant Officer Makgotlwe, dated 14 October 2024, and that it is to be found in the Bramley forensics file?
I confirm, Commissioner.
And can you confirm that this is the report that links the bullets extracted from the body of Mr. Swart to the AK-47 seized at Vereniging?
I confirm, Commissioners.
Then if we go to page 34 and annexure MQM5, can you confirm that this is the evidence bag, now unsealed, that is still stapled into the Bramley file with the number P4B 000208366?
I confirm, Commissioner.
Then, if we go to page 36, annexure MQM6, can you confirm that this document is the version of the report of Warrant Officer Makgotlwe, dated 24 May 2024, that one currently finds in the Bramley forensics file?
I confirm, Commissioner.
Then if we go to page 44, annexure MQM7, can you confirm that this is the review report? Well, sorry, that on page 48 we see the review report of the reviewer who reviewed Captain Makgotlwe's report on the 24th of June, sorry, on the 6th of June 2024 in the Bramley file?
I confirm, Commissioner.
And if we go to page 49...
Advocate Justin, because as I understand, there were 3 such reports, so this review relates to the first.
It would be the first report. MQM, and if we get MQM8 on page 49 running over to page 50, can you confirm that what we see at page 50 is the same reviewer's report, not the same report, but the report of the same reviewer of Captain Makgotlwe's first report, but this time it's in the Vereniging case file?
That's correct. I confirm, Commissioner.
And the date is similarly 6 June 2024.
That's correct.
You say MQM8 is the same reviewer
It is.
as MQM7.
Indeed, it's Lieutenant Colonel Monakali who did both reports. And as we'll explain later, if one looks at page 48,
Yes.
the Lieutenant Colonel didn't accept the report of Captain Makgotlwe, but didn't put her comments in on this form because she cross-referred to her comments on the Vereniging form.
Yes, okay.
Then on page 51, MQM 9, can you confirm that this is the now unsealed evidence bag PA 600-450-9202 that is now to be found in the Bramley file?
Yes, I confirm, Commissioners.
It's an evidence bag that originated from the Vereniging investigation, but as we stand today, it's to be found in the Bramley file.
That's correct, Commissioner.
And of course, it has been opened. It's no longer sealed. Then MQM 10 on page 52, can you confirm that this is an opened evidence bag, a now opened evidence bag, number PA 5500103539, that is to be found today in the Vereniging file?
I confirm, Commissioners.
And finally, MQM 11 on page 53, can you confirm that these are Captain Makgatloe's working notes dated 9 May 2024 that are to be found in the Bramley file?
That's correct, I confirm.
Thank you, Captain. If we can go back to your statement now, you say in paragraph 6 that you received a written request on 3 June to conduct a comparative ballistic examination in the Bramley matter against certain case dockets. Now, before we get to what they any further, I must place on record, as you see on the version of the statement that's being displayed on both screens, some of these cases are have to be redacted. So we will refer to the case if Bramley would be the first case, we'll refer to the case under 6.1 as case 2. The Littleton and Pretoria West cases are cases in which have already gone to court. So we can refer to them by name. We'll refer to the case in paragraph 6.4 as case 5, and the case in paragraph 6.5 as case 6. And I'd ask you not to mention cases 2, 5, and 6. So we'll just refer to them as cases 2, 5, and 6.
Senior Counsel, can you maybe repeat that one?
So the ones that we can mention, 6.1 will be case 2. We can't mention it.
Okay.
6.2, the Littleton case, we can mention. 6.3, the Pretoria West case, which I think was another DJ Vettis, if I'm correct, we can mention. 6.4 will be case 5, we can't mention it. And 6.6 will be case 6, we also can't mention that one. To begin with, can you confirm that you received this instruction to compare the ballistics exhibits from Bramley against those 5 cases?
That's correct, Commissioner.
And when did you receive that request?
I received it on the 3rd of June, 2025.
And if we go to paragraph 9, we'll see that you record that by the time you were asked to do these case comparisons, Captain Makgatloe had already conducted the functional testing and test firing of the firearms and had produced a report in May with certain errors which were then corrected in October. And you refer to those 2 reports as annexes MQM1 and MQM2. I'd like us to look at those two reports, and if we can, before we look at those two reports, can we look at the third report that Captain Makgotlwe produced, which was the report about the bullet that was extracted from the body of the deceased in the Vereeniging case. And that is MQM4 on paragraph 29. Sorry, page 29 of the annexure bundle. Do you have it?
Yes, I got it.
And if we can start at the foot of page 30, paragraph 3, where Captain Makgotlwe says, on 14 October 2024, during the performance of my official duties, I received an intact sealed evidence bag, gives the number, from Case Administration of Ballistics. I opened the bag and found the following exhibits, 3.1 and 3.2. What would 3.1 and 3.2 have been?
3.1, it's a 7.62 fired bullet that was marked by B1. And the 3.2 is a 7.62 caliber bullet core. Bullet core is, in a bullet, there is a lead inside the bullet, or there is steel that is covered by copper. We call it a core.
And from the exhibit numbers of that fired bullet and the fired bullet core, can you tell whether this was a test bullet or a bullet retrieved from a crime scene?
These are bullets that were retrieved from the crime scene, either from the postmortem or from the crime scene.
In fact, the evidence in this case will be that it was from the postmortem. So this was a bullet recovered from the body of the deceased. Then if we look at paragraph 4.12, what does Captain Makgotlwe refer to there?
These are the tests that Captain Makgotlwe made when he test fired the AK-47 that he received.
And the test bullets, 363 TB1 and 363 TB2, are those test bullets that you have previously examined?
Yes, these are test bullets that I also used to check as to whether it's positive with one of the cases that I've done.
And from which firearm do those test bullets come?
They come from a Russian-made AK-47.
But in which case was that AK-47 seized?
It's a Bramley case 149.
And then can you explain to the Commission what the conclusion reached by Captain Makgotlwe in paragraph 6.1 is?
Captain Makgotlwe is saying that the bullet mentioned in 3.1.
And which was that bullet?
The bullet mentioned in 3.1, it's a 7.62 bullet. That is it's an AK bullet, but it's the one that was recovered from the scene or from the postmortem. It's positive with the firearm that he has examined. And this, it's because he has compared that bullet with the tests that he has discharged from that firearm.
So the AK-47 seized in Bramley has been linked to the bullet extracted from the body of the victim at Vereeniging.
That's correct, Commissioners.
If we can then go back to Captain Makgotlwe's previous or first report, which is MQM1, which we see from page 1 of the annexure file. And I want to take you to a series of what I'm going to put to you are errors in that report. If you can go to page 4, paragraph 4.
It's page 3, paragraph 4.
Page 3 of the report, but I'm looking at the pagination in the file. So the number in the top right-hand corner.
Oh,
Okay, you've got the same pagination as me. So page 4, top right-hand corner, page 3 of the report.
I see.
Paragraph 4, the captain says, on 24 May 2024, during the performance of my official duties, I received an intact sealed evidence bag with number, and he gives the number, P4B 000208366, marked inter alia Bramley CAS 140/04/2024. Can we go to MQM5 on page 34?
Page 30.
34, top right-hand corner, 34.
Okay, I'm there.
At the bottom left of one sees the evidence bag number P4B 000208366 on the left-hand bottom left. What is the Bramley case number that's marked on this bag?
It's 149/4/2024.
And if you turn over the page, what are we looking at on page 35?
It's the same bag.
It's the same bag, and what's the case number marked there?
It's 149/4/2024.
So the reference to 140/04/2024 in paragraph 4 is an error.
Yeah, the reference I think is incorrect there.
What should it have been?
It's not, it was supposed to be 149/04/2024.
And this bag that we see is the bag that is in MQM5. That's the bag that is in that Bramley forensics file.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Mr. Chaskasan, how do we know that?
We can show you the forensics file if you would like. Can you take the forensics file to the commissioners and just show them that bag?
Thank you, Captain.
Sorry, Commissioner, I'm not sure if you saw both sides of the bag because
He showed us both sides, yes.
And maybe to avoid this happening a dozen times, maybe we should go through each of those exhibits now. Would that make sense? Sorry, Captain, can you bring both files back with you to the commissioners, and let's go to can you show the commissioners in the Bramley file first, which is going to be MQM6, the copy of the 24 May report that's in the file now? Captain Mahotlo's first report, or ostensibly first report.
MQM6 is at what page of what we got from the folder? 36, I'm sorry, 36, thank you.
And The first report. And for present purposes, I think the only important page of that first report to show to the commissioners is page 3 of that report, which corresponds to page 38 of the... No, it won't be written MQM because that's your file. It's 3 of 8, indeed. And paragraph 4 of that report should have the case number 149, not 140. Paragraph 4. Is that... or above 4.1, to the top part of paragraph 4. Then, Captain, can you show the commissioners the review report of the very first review report in the Bramley file?
It's our page 44.
That's correct. That's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Then, Captain, still in the Bramley file, can you show the commissioners the bag, the evidence bag PA 600 4509 202? I think it's 600 4509 202. And that's MQM 9, page 51. And lastly, in the Bramley file, can you show the commissioners Captain Mokgotlo's working notes? And those will be MQM 11, page 53. Then if you can go to the Vereniging file and first show the commissioners the review report in the Vereniging file. First review report. And that would be MQM 8 at page 48. First answer, well, the first page of the notes, and not the notes, the first page of the log, and then the review report behind it, I think. And then, lastly, in that file, the evidence bag 5500103539, ending the evidence bag ending 3539. And that would be MQM 10 at page 52. Thanks, Captain. I think we've been through all of them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
So, to get back to the errors, the first is the incorrect reference to the case number in paragraph 4. Then, if you turn the page, so it's page 5. And one looks at paragraph 4.30, the captain refers to one 7.62 times 39 caliber cartridge case. But in paragraph 6 on the same page, he said, I examined the cartridges, not cartridge cases, mentioned in 4.12 and 4.13, and found that they consist of a primer, cartridge case, bullet and propellant that were designed and manufactured to be fired by a centerfire firearm. What should paragraph 4.13 have referred to?
4.13, it was supposed to refer to a cartridge, not a cartridge case, because paragraph 6 is talking about examining the cartridges.
If we can then go to page 7 and paragraph 10.2, and there the report says the cartridge cases mentioned in 3.4 were fired in the firearm mentioned in 4.1. If we go to 3.4, which is on page 4, what is he describing?
Can you repeat, Senior Counsel?
What was the captain describing in paragraph 3.4 on page 4?
He is describing the bullet cores, as I've explained in the first, what is a core. But these cores are of 7.62, which means it's of AK-47 type.
And so when he refers to cartridge cases in 10.2, that's an error.
That's an error.
And he refers to the bullet cores again in paragraph 10.6. He says the bullet cores mentioned in 3.4 are not suitable for microscopic comparison due to damage. So on the basis of that conclusion, it would not be possible to reach the conclusion in 10.2 that the cartridge cases mentioned in 3.4 were fired in the firearm mentioned in 4.1.
Yes, that one is a correct one, Commissioners, that these cores, because they are damaged, they don't have grooves or lens that we can use to do a comparison.
So 10.2 is a mistake?
Yeah, 10.2 is a mistake.
If we go to the case notes of Captain Mpofu-Walsh, which is MQM 11 on page 53, and you see can you read for the commissioners the conclusion in relation to the cartridges AA3A to AA330. It's essentially the second paragraph of those notes.
Captain Mpofu-Walsh said C/6, which means it's cartridge cases. It refers to cartridge cases that were marked 193045/24, AA3A, 2, that he put a dash there, AA30. So if you count from A to O, it's 15 cartridge cases are positive to the test. That is 363 TC1 and 363 TC2. And he has made it positive because he looked at the ejector and the firing pin.
If we go back to the report on page 5, and we go to paragraph 4.9, those cartridge cases marked AA3A to AA30 are the 15 cartridge cases referred to in paragraph 4.9.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So when we look at the report at 10.2, the reference to 3.4 should have been a reference to 4.9.
That's correct, Commissioner.
If I can take you further down the report to paragraph 13, still on that same page of page 7, starting at 13.2, there are a reference to a series of dates, 24 March in 13.2, 13.3, then over the page 13.4, 13.5, 13.6. Those references to March must also be an error because the captain only received this evidence bag on the 24th of May. So it should be May, not March.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Can we then go to page 6, paragraph 7.2. And there the captain says, ammunition used for test purposes was marked as 363 TC1 and 363 TC2 on the cartridge cases, and 363 TB1 and 363 TB2 on the bullets, and was fired in the pistol mentioned in 4.1. If we go back to 4.1, what firearm is he referring to in 4.1?
It's a rifle. It's a 7.62 by 39, a Russian AK-47.
And is that a pistol?
It's a rifle. It's not a pistol.
So 7.2 is also an error. It should say rifle.
I think it's an error.
Can I take you then to another problem with 7.2? If we look at your report, MQM3, and we go to page 22, and we go first to paragraph 4.6, you record, well, let's start at 4.1. At 4.1, this is when you were asked to do comparisons involving the same AK-47.
Yeah, that's correct, but using the tests.
But using the tests that had been created by Captain Mpofu-Walsh.
That's correct.
So in 4.1, in one of the evidence bags, there was a test-fired cartridge case marked 363 TC1. And in 4.6, in another evidence bag, there were 2 more test-fired cartridge cases marked 363 TC2 and 363 TC3.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So there were 3 test cartridges that Captain Magotlo must have fired.
Yes, it looks like he has made 3 tests, because that is what I got from the seal bag.
Look at 4.12 as well over the page on 23. It says 3 7.62 caliber test-fired bullets marked 363 TB1, 363 TB2, and 363 TB3.
That's correct.
And that's consistent with what you've just said, that there would have been 3 test firings that he made.
Yes, because there's 3 tests for cartridge cases and 3 tests for bullets.
If we then go to the review report, which is MQM7, we see that when Captain Magotlo first produced his report, the reviewer would not sign off on it. She said no at page 48.
Yes, the reviewer said no, see lab number.
See lab number, and that's the reference to the Vereeniging case file. And if we go 2 pages down to MQM 8, page 50, the reviewer says, bag in paragraph 4.2 incorrect and paragraph 3. So if we go to first paragraph 3, the bag referred to there in the report that we have at page 3 is PA 5500103539. But we know that that number is actually the correct number because we've checked it, and that is MQM7 at page 45. So he did correct that error in his original report before he signed the one that we see at MQM1.
That's correct.
And, sorry, it's not page 45 at MQM7, it's page 51 at page 51 MQM9 is the bag that matches that number. And likewise, at page 52 MQM10, we have the bag PA 5500103539, which is the correct bag that is mentioned in paragraph, sorry, I've got the numbers wrong. The bag in MQM9 is the right bag for paragraph 4.2. The bag at MQM10 is the right bag for paragraph 3. So those 2 errors were corrected in his report.
That's correct.
Can I ask, in terms of protocols, when the reviewer says no, should there not be evidence of a follow-up review to check that the errors identified have been corrected?
When the reviewer said no, see paragraph so and so, it means that you have to go and rectify the mistake on that paragraph. And when you are done, you have to take the case file back to the reviewer so that the reviewer can check as to whether what she requested that you must do, you have done it. And that's why there it looks like there's a second reviewer.
So, sorry, I think you may be referring to page 48. If we have page 48 up,
Yes.
at the foot of the page, the form has section E, second round of case review, case file passed second review. And in this case, those blocks are all left blank.
Yes, it's blank.
So if you fail first review, in the ordinary course of events, are you expected to bring it back for the reviewer to confirm that you have now passed second review?
Yes, the case is now cleared.
And in this case, it seems that the report was released without the reviewer certifying that it had passed second review.
That's correct.
But in actual fact, she would have certified that she probably would have certified that it had passed second review because the mistakes that she identified were corrected.
Yes. Another thing, I really don't know. Maybe he might have corrected the mistake and sent it back to the reviewer, but the reviewer didn't complete this part.
Can I ask, in terms of review, there are, if one looks at the form on page 50, the functions that the reviewer is supposed to perform are set out section A, section B, section C. So the reviewer is supposed to check, do the case details on A, B, C, D, and front page of the case file correspond?
Yes.
What are A, B, C, D?
A, B, C, D, this file has 4 sides. This one is A, and this one is B, this one is C, and this one is D.
And where does the report of Captain Makgotwe sit in terms of A, B, C, D?
In terms of the reviewer here, I see it has ticked yes.
It's a different question. Sorry, Captain. Where would one find the ballistics reports in a case file? Would it be section A, section B?
It will be section A.
Section A.
Yes.
So the case details that are mentioned in the report would be case details in section A.
That's correct.
And the reviewer is supposed to check, do they correspond to the case details in section B, C, and D?
That's correct, Commissioner.
She says yes in this case, but in fact, in one important respect, they do not.
Yes. Actually, it was not supposed to be yes there.
It should have been a no there.
Yes.
Then on the third line, do the dates on A and C correspond? What is C?
C is the chain.
Is the chain of custody?
Yes. That you receive this at this bag, you have sent it to IBs, and then you have closed it on this seal bag. But that part, it's also having a part for the review at the back.
Right.
Yes.
But there is a problem with the dates in A. The dates in A do not correspond in all respects with C, because there are all of those references to March, which were before the chain of custody even started.
Yeah, that's correct.
So this should also have been ticked no.
Yes.
Then if we go to section C of this report, of this sheet, do the findings on the worksheet correspond with those on the case file report?
No.
They don't, because as you've pointed out, the worksheet linked the 15 AK-47 cartridges to the AK-47, but because of that error in 10.2,
That's correct.
it wasn't there. So that should also have been marked no. So the reviewer, in fact, marked 3 yeses where she should have marked no.
Yeah, that's correct.
If we then go to the second report, which starts at page 10 of your case file, sorry, your annexure file.
Page?
Page 10 of your annexure file, MQM2.
Oh, yes.
So that is the second report. If we go to page 4, we see that that first error of the date, of the case number, Bramley case 140/04.
I think Seneca is page 12.
Page 12, I apologize, yes. That second error has not been corrected in the second report.
That's correct.
If we go to page 13, paragraph 4.13, we see that the error in relation to the description of a cartridge as a cartridge case was not corrected in the report. But we've seen from the supplementary report that we addressed with Brigadier Mkachwa yesterday that there was a supplementary that identified this error, said it was an error, and corrected it.
That's correct, but I have not seen the supplementary, but...
You haven't seen the supplementary?
No. I've never seen it, but I think it's in this case file.
It's in?
I think it's in one of these case files.
It would be in the Bramley case file.
Okay.
But in any event, we saw it from Brigadier Mkachwa yesterday in the non-conformance report.
Brigadier Mkabele, yes.
Sorry, Brigadier Mkavela, sorry. So that was corrected. If we go to 10.2 on page 15, the reference to 4.9 was put in. So the original mistaken reference to 3.4 or erroneous reference to 3.4 was replaced with the correct reference to 4.9. So that was corrected.
Yeah, corrected.
If we look at the dates in paragraph 13.2 onwards, we see there still are these references to March, so that hasn't been corrected.
Not corrected, yes.
And if we go back to page 14 and 7.2, we see that instead of referring to a rifle in 7.2, it still refers to a pistol, and the test ammunition still only refers to 2 test cartridges and 2 test bullets, not 3.
That's correct.
If we go to page 16 and we look at the date of the second report, we see a new problem, which is the second report is dated 22 May 2024. But it had to have been, the affidavit had to have been signed at a later date than 24 May 2024. Because, well, for one thing, the review of the very first version of the document only took place on the 6th of June, we saw from that review report.
Yeah, correct. The date was supposed to be different.
Can I ask you, is it common practice, if one looks at the change that was made in 10.2, to make a change as it were, to put in a replacement page, as opposed to just filing a supplementary that identifies the error and corrects it?
Commissioners, I think the procedure is that you have to make a supplementary report. And in a supplementary report, you are going to point the mistakes that you are correcting from the original report.
So it's not consistent with procedure just to correct the report in the document and put in a replacement page?
No, it's not.
And apart from anything else, doing that, it gives it incorrectly backdates your replacement to 24 May 2024 because it doesn't flag the fact that your replacement page is put in at a date after 24 May 2024.
Yes.
Mr. Chaskalson, it does not appear to me that this is a replacement page. It seems to me that it was signed much later, so they did not swap page 9 for page 17. If you look at the last signature and where it is, it doesn't seem like it's the same page to me.
Commissioner, the last signature.
So if you compare page 9 with page 17.
It's a different, it's the same commissioner, but a different.
If you look at where the signature appears, it's not the same page. So one cannot say you've simply inserted the old page. What they did is when they did the second report, they backdated it.
They backdated the second.
Like.
I understand your point, and I fully accept it, Commissioner. Captain, just to put the Commissioner's observation to you, if one compares page 9 with page 17, page 9, which is the signature, the Commissioner's signature on the first report.
Okay, page 9, yes.
With page 16, one sees that firstly, the signatures are slightly different. So in the signature at page 9, it says Masha, and I can't read the second word, the third one seems to be Samuel.
Kwena, I think it's Masha.
Kwena Samuel.
Yes.
Masha Kwena Samuel. If we look at the signature on page 17, it's Masha KWS.
That's correct, I see.
So these are two different affidavits, and the one in the second report appears to have been backdated to 24 May 2024.
Yes, I think this is a good observation. We didn't see it.
Mr. Chaskalson, perhaps it's also fair to put to you, Captain, that having noted that the signatures are different, it's also possible, until Captain Makhotlwe explains, that he just reprinted that last page and went to a commissioner. So instead of backdating, he may well have reprinted from his old report and then went and got the commissioner to commission.
Yeah, no,
There's that possibility.
That's a possibility, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Chair, I see we've reached 1 o'clock. It may be a convenient time to break now.
Seeing that we started late, how much longer do you think the witness is going to be? If not too long, we could sit until the witness is done?
I don't think we're going to be more than another hour, but we won't be, it's not 5 or 10 minutes. It's,
Let us adjourn and resume at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph 4 now refers to the correct case number, the case number that's been on the evidence bag since day one.
That's correct.
The only other difference between this report and the second the only other difference between this report and the second report that we can identify is that the signatures, again, are different. So if one goes to page 42 and looks at the signature of Warrant Officer Makgotlwe on page 42, that's not the same signature. It's a new signature when one compares that with page 16. And if one goes to the Commissioner's signature on page 43, that also is a different signature to the one that we see at page 17. Will you confirm that?
I confirm, Commissioner. I confirm, Commissioner.
And yet, the third affidavit again is backdated to 24 May 2024.
That's correct, Commissioner. That's correct, Commissioner.
Now, you've earlier testified that the correct procedure, if Captain Makgotlwe wanted to remedy the error in his first two affidavits in the reference to the case file in paragraph 4, was to prepare a supplementary affidavit.
That's correct.
I want to put to you that the problem about not doing a supplementary affidavit is twofold. The first is it looks like there never was an error because one has backdated third affidavit to 24 May. So it looks like this has been what he's saying. He has said all along. What's your comment on that? What's your comment on that? Do you have a comment on that?
Would it not be accurate that if the reader has only the latest version?
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct. Obviously, if the reader has all three versions, the reader would see that this is a work in progress. This is a work in progress. But the second error is that the whole point about a supplementary is to highlight that there was a mistake and that you have corrected it.
That's correct.
If you do this version of rewriting your affidavit and backdating it to the date of the original affidavit, you are concealing the fact that you made a mistake and have now corrected it to the reader who only has this document.
Yes, commissioners, because at the end of the day, that report that you have rectified needs to go to the IO. So if you rectify using the backdated one and you don't give it to the IO, it is going to expose you. Because the IO will be having an affidavit or a report that will have mistakes that we have corrected on the affidavit that we're having on the file.
And which affidavit is the affidavit likely to go to court?
The affidavit that is going to court is the affidavit that has been collected already by the IO. So that affidavit is going to court with its mistakes, but then the mistakes that we have corrected is in the file. The correction, the right report is in the file.
There's one last issue I want to deal with in relation to these successive reports, which is that if one goes back to the review reports, paragraphs MQM 7 and MQM 8, pages 48 and 50. If one doesn't submit your corrected report to the reviewer for recertification. No, sorry. If you submit a report to the reviewer, the reviewer says correct these errors. And you then take it away and hand over the report to the investigating officer without sending it back to the reviewer. Sorry, so assume that scenario, which is what appears to have happened here. If you wanted to sabotage the report, you could make all sorts of changes from the copy that you gave to the reviewer in the first instance, and hand an amended report to the IO.
Yeah, that is possible, Commissioner. Because when the reviewer gave you the case file and said, go and rectify one, you have to go and rectify. After rectifying, you must take it back to that reviewer. That reviewer is responsible to take the case file to IBS or to the archives and to take that report to case admin for disposal. So if it goes back to the examiner and the examiner rectify and then take it to the IO, then the reviewer now don't know as to whether the report was rectified or not. Even if you have made some changes, the reviewer will not know because the affidavit or the report was not brought back to him or her.
In other words, what's happened here is that a document has gone out to the investigating officer without apparently passing through the hands of the reviewer in its final form before it went to the investigating officer.
Yeah, it looks like that because when I listened, I hear that the IO got the report from the examiner. So it's possible.
Can we then go back to your statement?
Just Cousin, before you do that, you've cross-referenced signatures, and I think it's important that we get to the heart of what it is you're suggesting. You've cross-referenced Captain Makotre's signature at page 42 and the one at page 16. Which are different reports, and you've said in one of them that's a new signature. I think you said the one at page 16 is a different signature. What is the big point that you're making? Are you suggesting it's not him that signed? Are you suggesting he sought to mislead with that signature? I think it does need to be clarified.
No, Chair. I think it's the point that I'm not suggesting that this isn't the signature warrant officer Makotwe. It's the point that Commissioner Kekana made earlier, which is this is not that a replacement page was printed out. It's that a full copy of the amended document appears to have been printed out with the same backdated date of 24 May and then signed afresh at a third.
I understand. I just thought it needed to be clarified. Thank you. Sufficiently clear. Thank you. Sufficiently clear. Thank you.
Captain, we've taken a long detour before getting to your report. But we're getting there now. So if you can go back to page 3 of your statement. And you'll recall earlier that you testified that you got this request on 3 June to compare the Bramley ballistics specimens with 5 other cases that we've called Case 2, Case 3, the Pretoria West case, Case 5, Case 2, the Littleton case, the Pretoria West case, Case 5, and Case 6. Can you pick up from paragraph 10 of your report, where you describe what you did? Sorry, not of your report, of your statement. Paragraph 10 of your statement.
Commissioners, I have performed, or I can say that I have compared the cases that are stated in my MQM3. MQM3. I've compared those cases with the Bramley case, and to go through what I've done.
I'll take you to your report in a minute, but just to give a broad outline of what you did, where you did it, and what you found.
I have been asked by asked one of the sergeant through a request letter to compare the 5 cases stated on my statement.
And where were you stationed at the time?
I was back in Silverton from KZN.
And what test exhibits did you use for your analysis?
The test exhibits are the tests that were performed by Captain Mpofu from the Bremley case.
And if you go to paragraph 12, can you give the Commission a summary of what you concluded with your analysis?
I found that Bremley 149, that was the possession of firearms, is linking with the case docket.
And remember that refer to case 2, case 5, case 6.
It's linked with 5 case dockets. It's linking firstly with case 2, and it's linking with Littleton, case 157 of 8/2022, and it's linking with Pretoria West, case 447/7/21. And it's linking with case 5, and also it's linking with case 6.
And in paragraphs 12.1 and 12.2, you identify the specific links that you found. Can you tell the Commission what they were?
Paragraph 12.1, an AK-47 with serial number 575363, it is a Russian made, used in a Bremley, was linked with case 2 and Littleton case. My comparative analysis, same rifle previously identified in the Bremley was also used at the case 2 and Littleton crime scenes. So what it means is that the AK-47 that was tested by Captain Mpofu is linking with the crime scene of Littleton and case 2.
And in relation to the 9mm conclusion at paragraph 12.2?
There's a pistol, there's a pistol with an obliterated serial number. The make is Taurus. That pistol is the pistol that was tested at Bremley case by Captain Mpofu, and that pistol is linking also with Pretoria West case, and is linking also with case 6. Let me get my notes aside. Yeah. That pistol is linking with case 2, and it's linking also with Pretoria West, and it's linking with case 5, and it's linking with case 6.
And if we go to your report, which is MQM3 from page 18, can I ask you to explain the detailed conclusions that you reach that sets out, I mean, you've just given the summary conclusions, and they are set out in your report from the foot of page 25, paragraph 11, page 8 of 11 of your report. Can you, Maybe what would help the commissioners in this regard is if at the top of the page where all of the cases are mentioned, you can explain to the commissioners against each case which cartridges are linked to which case, where that list of 6 cases at the top is, and then you can do your conclusions with reference to that. So which are the cartridges linked to the Bramley case?
Senator Council, I think maybe, is it not proper for me maybe to first explain what is comparison microscope?
Sure.
Yeah. So that
Please do,
maybe-
yes.
So that the commissioners can follow. We got an equipment in the laboratory called comparison microscope. Comparison microscope consists of 2 microscopes that are connected together by a prism bridge, where a binocular eye is fitted, and through that binocular eye you can be able to view both specimens simultaneously. And underneath the microscope, there are platforms where we place these specimens. These platforms are adjustable. And there's a light that we use for illumination purposes. So we place the exhibits in both platforms, and then you look on the binocular eye, and then if it is positive, what you see on the left must be able to see on the right. If it's negative, what you see on the left, you'll see something different on the left. So that is how the microscope operates. So just to explain the findings that Senior Counsel said I must. In 11.1, but Senior Counsel, I said if maybe the commissioners next to Bramley, they were supposed, maybe they can put, because the exhibits there is 4.1 to 4.12 on Bramley alone. And then on case 2 is 5.1 to 5.2. On Littleton is 6.1. On Pretoria West is 7.1. On case 5 is 8.1 to 8.2. On case 6 is 9.1 to 9.2. That is important for the understanding of these results. So 11.1 says the cartridge cases mentioned in 4.1 and 4.5, 4.1, 4.5, 4.6. Those exhibits on 4.1, 4.5, and 4.6, they are from Bramley case. And then 5.2, that exhibit is from case 2. And 6.1, that exhibit is from Littleton. So what it means is that that AK-47 was used. The AK-47 that was tested by Captain Mpofu-Walsh was used in case 2 and Littleton. That is the first finding. And when we go to 11.2, here we're dealing with the pistol. So the cartridge cases mentioned in 4.2, 4.7, those ones are from Bramley. 5.1 are from case 2. 7.1 are from Pretoria West. 8.1 are from case 5. 9.1 are from case 6. So what it means that torus with an obliterated number was used in case 2, and it was used in Pretoria West. It was used in case 5 and case 6. So that's what it means. These are the 2 firearms that were tested by Captain Mpofu-Walsh that are linking with the cases mentioned in the report.
And your conclusion in 11.3?
11.3, the cartridge cases mentioned in 6.1, that is Littleton, and case 2 were fired in the 3rd firearm. There, commissioners, Littleton, the only firearm that was used, the firearms that were used there are rifles only. So I'm just showing there that no, there's a link between Littleton and case 5, but the firearm is not recovered.
So in addition to the AK-47 that was seized at Bramley,
Yes.
there was another rifle that was used at Littleton, and is it case 5?
Yes, that was not recovered.
And was that also an AK-47?
It's a 7.62 by 39. It's a, I can't say it's an AK-47, but the ammunitions that were used are used by the AK-47.
It's a rifle that uses the same ammunition as an AK-47.
That's correct.
And maybe an
it can-
AK-47 and maybe another rifle.
That's correct. So 11.4, there's a bullet, the bullet mentioned in 9.2. 9.2 is case 6. Was not fired from the same firearm with bullets mentioned in 4. There I was checking the bullet that I have received at case 6 with the bullet, with the test bullet that were made by Captain Mpofu-Walsh for Bramley 149, and it's negative. It happens to be like the bullets were not fired in the same firearm.
Thank you very much, Captain. From my side, I don't have further questions for you.
Just one question, based on what was said by Brigadier Kabela yesterday. I hope my recollection is correct. In your testimony today, you say that you used the same test, I don't know whether cases or projectiles, but those that were fired by Captain Mpofu-Walsh, you use them to do your own tests.
Yes, Commissioner, I've used the tests that were made by Captain Mpofu-Walsh, test of bullets and test of cartridge cases.
All right, thank
Yes.
you. If I understood Captain Kabela correctly, he said that to do a proper test, you must fire yourself, that is, fire into the tank and use what you have fired. And he said something like to use someone else's test bullets and test cartridges would not be proper because you aren't quite sure of the circumstances relating to how that other person did the shooting or firing. I hope, again, that my recollection is correct.
Commissioners, what is happening is that when a firearm is brought to the laboratory, the person that is going to be assigned to examine that firearm will test that firearm. And the tests are going to be put on that case file. One of the tests will be sent to IBIS just to be put on the database. But the tests that are on the case file, any comparison with other cases, because the firearm now will be sent back to the station, and then from the station will be sent for destruction. So if an IO said, please compare this case with this firearm, he's not necessarily saying that you must go back and look for that firearm. He's saying that you must compare it with the tests that has been made when the firearm was initially brought to the laboratory. So it is incorrect. It is incorrect what he said, if he did say that.
Also, to be sure that you are comparing apples with apples, you must use the very same bullets and cartridges that were ejected when the tester or the analyst did the original test.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And those tests after, they put them on the seal bag. So their integrity is unquestionable.
Can I ask, Captain, would those test cartridges and test bullets still be sitting inside the Bramley forensics file?
That's correct.
And could you find them, without opening that bag, could you find them and possibly show them to the commissioners?
Yes, I can. But now they are mixed with the 15 cartridge cases that were picked on the crime scene.
But just to be clear, my question though related to what the analyst or tester fires into a tank, as I understood Brigadier Mkabela's case. My question did not relate to what would be picked up, whether at the scene or in this case where the suspects were arrested. So my question related to what is fired for purposes of conducting the test, what is fired into the tank. I'm just clarifying that that's what my question related to. Yes. Thank you, Captain.
Captain, early on in your evidence and in your statement, you describe your role, and this you find in paragraph 3 of your statement. Firstly, what I want to clarify is that description of your role. Is it your role as a senior forensic analyst, or is your role in the PKTT, as a senior forensic analyst in the PKTT?
No, senior forensic analyst is my job title. But I was deployed to go and work in KZN and do the linkages of cases, do crime scenes, do vehicle examination. So those are the role of a senior forensic, actually an analyst.
Okay.
Yes.
So the description you give in paragraph 3, that's a description of the role of an analyst.
Yes.
All right. Does then that include even the last part in that statement, in that paragraph where you say, I think from the 4th line, right, the extreme right, you say the sentence that starts there, it says, given the technical complexities of ballistics, I also present my reports to investigating officers to explain the findings and guide their inquiries, including the identification of specific firearms that should be sought. And my specific question really is to the part where you say you guide their inquiries. Is that what a forensic analyst does in the normal course, or this is something that you do now that you're within the PKTT because you're part of that team?
Actually there, I think it's just guiding investigations.
Okay. Just unravel that. What does that mean?
It means, say for instance, a crime has been committed and then a person was shot with a 9mm shot. It is our duty to explain to the IO that what you are looking for is a 9mm shot, not a 9mm pistol, not a rifle. Because the police will come and bring all these firearms, they say compare. But if you said, for this case, the person was killed with a 9mm shot, then the person knows exactly what kind of a firearm he's looking for. Yes.
And that's a role, that's a function you perform in the normal course?
Yes.
Okay. And then lastly from me, you said further on that the analysis that you did, the final one in April 2025, you did that in Pretoria. You are now back at your station in Pretoria.
That's correct.
Does that mean you are now back in Pretoria, or this was just for this specific assignment? And
No,
I asked the question because because of the directive that the PKTT should be dissolved, the minister's directive, and I want to understand whether is that why you're back in the laboratory, or this is just for this assignment?
Okay, let me put it this way, commissioners. PKTT is not dissolved, but some members of the PKTT were sent home. Like the ballistics, the crime intelligence, the LCRC, the members who are left at PKTT as we speak is the detectives and the combat. Because the combat is there to protect the detectives when they go to court. Although even ourselves, from time to time, I fly to Devon to attend cases. But I am back for now.
Now, given the function or the role that you were playing in the PKTT when you were assigned to the PKTT, now that you are out of that, you've been sent home, what do you say, or what would you say is the consequence of it on the work of the PKTT? What do they now lack, which they had while you were there on a full-time basis?
PKTT lack now, I think, the turnaround time of the investigating the case. They were having everything in the palm of their hands. When they arrest a person with a firearm, they send it to ballistics. We are going to produce a report within a day or two. They need LCRC to go and collect the specimens. Same day, the case in ballistics. They needed crime intelligence to get evidence or information. And they needed, I think there's cell phone analysts also to do, if the cell phone is, they confiscate the cell phone, download the cell phone. And they need also, the analysts. So now they are no longer going to process things very fast to be effective as they used to be effective, because part of the disciplines are no longer part of them.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you.
Just to pick up on the Commissioner's question, assume the PKTT now sees a firearm. What's going to happen in terms of the ballistics examination process? They want to know, is this firearm linked to any of our matters? How will they proceed now?
When they're now, meaning that they'll just have to take the firearm and send it to Amazimdot and wait for the report. And that can take time, but they can ask that please prioritize this firearm. But then they will be asking, because there will be no people who are designated to do that firearm and give them a report at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just have one question. I'm looking at Brigadier Mkabela's statement. You may not have it with you, so I'm going to read a section where he deals with how a ballistic analysis is conducted, just so that I understand what your role was in this process. In 24.5, he says the assigned analyst will complete and sign the comparison microscope results form to document the findings/results from the comparison microscope. And then in 24.6, so I'm trying to understand if what you do is what is set out in 26.5, 24.5, or 24.6. This is what he says in 24.6. An independent analyst will also conduct an independent microscopic verification on the same samples and exhibits. The independent analyst will then complete and sign a comparison microscope verification results form. Is that more or less what you did, or is it something different?
Yeah, it's more or less what I did in this case.
Yes, because I didn't want to confuse that with what the earlier analyst does. So I just needed to be clear that what you do is more or less the independent microscopic verification.
Yes. Commissioners, because I was the one who was analyzing or was doing a microscopic comparison, I have compared. After comparing, then I have signed the form that the brigadier is saying it must be signed. But then after that, there must be an independent person whom I'm going to give the very same file and say, no, go and do verification examination on this. So that person, if what I've done, say for instance, I said I got positive, he must come with positive. So if I said, okay, what I've done, maybe there's negative, he must come to that very same conclusion. And our results or our findings, even an independent experts from outside ballistics must come to the very same conclusion. And it happens time and again, especially in KZN, they used to challenge us and said, no, we need the case file. We have our own ballistics expert. We are going to give it to them, but we are not just going to give the file to them. We will be with them. Then to go, they will have their own mic, and then they are going to do a microscopic examination. They must come to the very same conclusion.
They being the accused persons?
No,
who are they that are asking for their own?
The defense usually have their own ballistics expert. Yes. So that person, when he's given the very same file, that person must come to the same conclusion that we came to. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Captain.
Thank you, Chair. We don't have a further witness today. This is the end of this little ballistics chapter. Tomorrow's witnesses will deal with the arrest of Mr. Molefe.
Thank you. Let's adjourn until 9:30 tomorrow.